Caddo County, all right, for that storm right there. And then for the rest of us, storms coming into Oklahoma City. Cassie, let's zoom in. Let's zoom into this. Okay, here's Oklahoma City. Storms now over Darren, Piedmont. These are not severe. Okay, they're not severe right now, but they're getting stronger. The Piedmont storm moving to Deer Creek. Cassie, let's zoom in closer. And there's Gaillardia, there's Deer Creek, there's Rose Creek. Okay, Jed?
Chickasha cam is up.
Okay, we'll get Chickasha cam going here. And there you go. Might have some small hail, very small hail, east sides of Piedmont. Lightning and thunder, that's going to Deer Creek. Need to watch this storm here. All right, it's nothing crazy. I'm not talking about a tornado, but it's getting stronger. We need to watch that. It's going to Deer Creek. All right, no big deal right now. A little wind, a little hail out of that. All right, and the rain's going to pick up. The lightning's going to pick up. It's going to get loud in Oklahoma City. The thunder is going to get loud, and you know how it's going to turn out, right? But here it comes. Again, coming in from the west. And it's going to get heavier. This is kind of the first line. We'll get the second line, like we said, at about 8 o'clock. All right, for the last 4 days, we've said storms in Oklahoma City between 6 and 9 on Saturday evening. And here we are. Saturday evening, and we're not quite there yet, but they're almost here. They're almost here. So they're coming into West Oklahoma City. Thunderstorms coming in. This is going to be that first line. And here comes the second line in behind that. There's Chickasha cam looking off to the west. There's downtown Chickasha. Look at the mesocyclone there flashing in the background. Okay? All right, Cassie, let's back out just a bit. Tornado warning continues. Storms in El Reno.
But in the daytime, you go out in this area tomorrow, you're going to see some damage once the sun comes up. Again, we got a nighttime threat here. We've got KOCO5 storm chaser Lawrence McEwen, who is going to be coming up on this storm right now. He is very much near the path of this, and we'll get him on the phone there. You can see a stream there on the right-hand side, but this is big time. This is a big-time storm as it continues to move up to the northeast. Not only that, also carrying baseball-sized hail with it. So this moves into Verdon. It is currently 721, 748 with this storm right here. Right now, this is east of Stecker. Stecker, you're okay. If I'm living in Chickasha, this storm, it is outside of the warning. You can see here, the polygon does not come in the Chickasha yet, but it will soon. This thing is going to continue to move up to the northeast. If it's looking this bad right now, it's more than likely going to continue to do so as it moves up to the northeast here. Right now, 722. If you're living in Verdon, you're going into your tornado shelter. If you're living in Chickasha, even Chickasha, you're getting ready to go into your tornado shelter. This is not a good thing to see at all. I mean, just look at that right there. That's as bad as it can get. I mean, if this were the springtime, you'd be seeing a big-time tornado out of this. And I'm still pretty confident that we're still seeing a big-time tornado out of this as well. Jonathan, I mean, this is scary to see, especially at night.
The velocities, they're still maxed out right now. I mean, we're at the peak of what I'm looking at rotation. And so, yes, high confidence, still what I'm seeing on radar. When I'm looking at this, I have high confidence there's something on the ground right now. It's going to be very rural, but again, it just crossed over Highway 8, and I'm going to throw down some roads here so you can see how I'm going to clear the storm track. Again, very rural, but this is going to be probably, if I had to pick a location for the tornado, it's going to be County Road 2680 and then 1410. That's where it's going to be. Let me highlight right in here. This is where we're pretty much gate to gate, pixel to pixel, high velocity to high velocity. And again, I'm not looking at the tornado per se. I'm actually looking at the mesocyclone. You just saw an update on the velocity there. Now this is good. This is good that we're not as strong with the velocities gate to gate. We had the pinks and the blues right together, and now it's kind of opened up a little bit. The velocities are still very strong, but it's opened up. So that's kind of good. So some of the values here, some 70s, there's a 92, these are some 60s and 50s. So it's opened up a little bit. So maybe spinning out, but we're still treating it like it's on the ground.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. And the storm's getting ready to get to the very end of this tornado warning, which more than likely, with at least something like this, and as fast as that thing spun up, wouldn't be surprised if it even gets extended a little farther out to the northeast here. You can see Lawrence is right in the heart of this hook. I mean, he's coming up right on it. You can see on the right-hand side of your television screen, a good amount of lightning there. Got some wind that's blowing some debris there. You can see it just moved right across the street. And that rain, holy cow. Hey, yeah. Lawrence on the phone?
So he's driving north, and that's RFD winds, and he's got damage. He's got debris over the road. Looks like some leaves and stuff. Look at that.
Holy cow.
Trees are down. Debris on the road. He just went through the RFD. If he's on the phone, I think, Lawrence, we have RFD winds with you right now there, Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence, tell us what you got, man. Be safe, buddy.
Yeah, we came up on roads blocked, Damon. We're on debris right now. We're going to be 3 miles to the northwest of Cement right now. Road is completely impassable, Damon. Again, this thing is completely rain wrapped, so you're not going to be able to see it coming towards you, unfortunately, right now, Damon. Again, if you live north of the town of Cement, from Cement to Verdon, if you live in that area, that sector, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately because, again, Damon, you're not going to be able to see this thing coming towards you.
Lawrence, this is a big-time tree. This is a healthy tree. That's a big tree. When you see a tree like that on its side, you know there's a nasty wind event right there. Tornado straight-line winds, no matter how you look at it, the impacts are all the same, and that is going to be damaged. But, wow, that's a healthy tree right there, snapped right there. There you got it. I mean, good grief. That storm is nasty. Let's keep this up. Let's put up the radar. Let's do a 2-box if we can, because I want to look at where this storm is right now. I mean, that thing is just going nuts. Here we go right here. So Lawrence is right in the heart of the storm right here. Lots of red. County Road 2700, County Road 1420. Tornado warning continues. You saw all the debris there. That storm is now wrapping up, headed up to the northeast here. This is where that storm is probably going to have, yeah, there you go, right there. That's where the velocities are. You can see the inflow coming in. Tornado is going to be right here. Chickasha, way too close for comfort. Verdon, I'm going into my tornado shelter as well, because even in Verdon, if you don't see the tornado, you're getting some big time winds here, 60, 80 miles per hour plus. Remember earlier we were showing you our wind index, and we said this was a spot in the state where we're going to get our max winds, 80 miles per hour easily. You see those trees that are down. That was a lot more than 80 miles per hour. That's probably pushing at least 100, if not stronger than that, 120. There you go. That circulation coming right over County Road 2700. Latest radar scan has pushed it up to the northeast. This storm is moving about 35, 40 miles per hour. It's getting ready to move outside of the tornado warning. Verdon, though, I'm watching this storm in Verdon. I'm getting into my tornado shelter with this cell as it's just ramping up, going fast up to the northeast. Anadarko, you should be okay, but barely Anadarko. Anadarko, the storm's going to stay just a few miles east of you. On the right-hand side, you can see Lawrence there. That rain is coming in sideways. That's just bad. That's bad. You had to back up. If you're just now coming in to our coverage here, came across a bunch of debris there on the right-hand side from Lawrence McEwen shot there as he was out near Cement. But this storm coming up into Verdon, Chickasha, too close for comfort. Chickasha, Verdon, both towns right now, I'm talking to you. You need to be going into your tornado shelter very soon, if not within the next couple of seconds here, as the storm, it's moving in fast. It comes in fast, it's going to move out fast, but you can see the damage that Lawrence already had there in front of you. When you see that happening, that very well could happen on your street. You get some flying debris, stay away from those windows with this storm moving up to the northeast. Once again, tornado warning has just been extended. Here you go, we have an update. Chickasha, you're now in a tornado warning. Same thing for Verdon. So as we told you, wouldn't be surprised if this thing gets extended. There you go. Verdon, Chickasha, go into your shelter right now. Brand new tornado warning was just issued. This will once again include Chickasha, Grady County, does not include Anadarko, does include Verdon going up to amber here. So tornado warning has now been extended for this storm, and it is for what you see on the right-hand side of your television screen, what you saw moments ago when Lawrence was in there and you saw all that debris, saw the tree damage down. There's not a lot of homes out here, but there is a good amount of trees. And so when you see those trees getting blown over, that also very well could be someone's house. So watching closely for this storm. Once again, we are southwest of Oklahoma City. Tornado warning inside of a tornado watch that goes until 10 o'clock. It is currently 7:30, and this is a brand new tornado warning polygon until 8 o'clock. Caddo, Grady County. We're going to continue our coverage here as this tornado warning is moving back up to the northeast, coming right into Chickasha here, putting a timeline here. It is currently 7:30. You have 6 minutes. Verdon, Chickasha, you have 18 minutes from now before this tornado is going to move in. The circulation coming in. We're hoping it weakens, but still got to watch out. Amber, 8:03, Middleburg, 8:13. Amber, Middleburg, both outside of the tornado warning polygon. However, you're treating this as the storm continues to move up to the northeast, that it's likely going to continue to move up to the northeast and eventually very well could see a tornado warning issued even downstream. Jonathan, what do you see?
And so here's the deal. There was a tornado in there. It was significant. Lawrence drove through it. I think there's a new area of rotation, a new mesocyclone is forming. All right. So I'm going to show you some of the velocity products here. Again, I think there's a new area of rotation. This was the old meso. I'm going to back up the velocities here. This is where, again,
links
we were
3,
gate to gate.
Control room.
I'm going to point at it.
Query some of that data.
On radar right there, right?
Out near Kogar and also near Kingfisher. Query some of that. Take a look at some of this data in here. See what you think. Okay, 47, 48. Okay, so Kingfisher, reading. We're talking about Cashin. Some of these cities aren't there anymore. Dover, you're there, you're alive. Jax, not so much. But 40 to 50 mile per hour winds in southern and southeastern Kingfisher County. It's moving to the east. Get ready, Logan County, for wind gusts of 40 to 50.
Tornado action plan, engage, go, because this thing is ramping up. I mean, it's really going up there, Damon. So, okay, Damon's going to swap out some batteries here again. So what we're looking at here, again, are the velocities of this storm. This is my job as a radar meteorologist to hunt at night, slicing through the storm and finding out where those velocities are at. Here's the old area of rotation right there. That's done. The new one's forming right here, and this has Chickasha in the path of the storm. Speeds have come up too for the storm track, going about 30 miles an hour. So there's your updated storm track, folks. The Damon, I mean, Chickasha, gotta engage, execute your tornado action plan now, because I think this thing is trending up. Is there a tornado on the ground right now? I don't know, but the velocities are coming up, and that's what we have to watch right there.
Yeah, and the sirens are going off in Chickasha right now. Chickasha, this is as serious as it gets right now. This storm system, this is bad. This is a bad storm headed into Chickasha right now. You still have right now at 7:46, you still have about 14 minutes to go before this storm comes right into Chickasha. But as Jonathan showed you earlier, this is where the tornado was earlier. This is now weakening. This is strengthening. That's why the new tornado warning now includes Chickasha to account for this new area of spin. And when you see these colors right here, as hot as they are, bright green, pretty much white, even if it's not a tornado, it's some big time winds that will be doing damage like a tornado. Straight line winds, tornado, they both had the same impacts, and that is damage. You can see on the right-hand side of your television screen, KOCO5 storm chaser Lawrence McEwen coming up on more tree damage there. It looks like this storm is pushing out some big-time winds, pushed down some big-time trees earlier when we had that tornado there, and now this storm continues to move up to the northeast. So Norge, Chickasha, go into your shelter immediately. This storm is moving rapidly up to the northeast at about 35, 40 miles per hour almost. Not only that, it's also bringing in with it tennis ball size hail. That is big time hail. That will ruin your car. That will put a new roof on your house. That's kind of hail damage that we have. And this is all headed up the turnpike. Remember, told you hours ago when this storm developed southwest of Lawton, as it's coming in up the turnpike, where's it going? Coming into Oklahoma City. Right now it is 7:33. This storm will come into OKC. I promise you, I guarantee we're getting storms here in the metro. It's not going to be long from now. Now we're hoping that the tornado threat can weaken. However, the storm is still in the warm sector of the state. It is still very unstable. The cold front has not moved in yet. So until that happens, that threat for tornadoes will continue here. Once the cold front moves in and begins to cool down, tornado risk starts to go down. Hasn't happened yet. It's not going to happen until right over Oklahoma City. And all the data that we have coming in shows that the threat continues to ramp up. So we've got the tornado warning now coming into Chickasha here. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings inside of a tornado watch that goes until 10 o'clock. It is currently 7:34. Tornado warning right now remains in effect for Chickasha as you go out to the northeast. Anadarko, you're just barely outside of this tornado warning. You're okay. You're getting a lot of rain. You're getting a lot of hail. On the right-hand side, you can see Lawrence McEwen. If we can get Lawrence on the phone, I want to get an update from him right now because I know he's in position. He's had to make a couple detours because of debris and damage in the road, but you can see that inflow coming into the storm. Lawrence right into the heart of it. Lawrence, those are some big-time trees that you had down in front of you. Where are you now and what are you seeing?
Damon, right now we are 4 miles north of the town of Cement right now. We came across what I believe would be the damage path of the tornado where it lifted. We had 2 snapped power lines down and just a bunch of big giant trees uprooted and knocked over. Right now, I do not see a tornado on the ground right now. I believe it has lifted right now, Damon, but I can tell you earlier it definitely was a tornado on the ground just to the west of Cement and about 7 to 8 miles south of Anadarko. But if you're living in the town of Chickasha, the storm's moving towards your direction. It's cycled, a bunch of times, and every time it cycles, it puts down another tornado. So I take this storm extremely serious if I'm listening in Chickasha right now, Damon.
Spot on there, Lawrence. If you're living in Chickasha, you are doing everything you can right now to get into the innermost room of your house or a tornado shelter. I know it is Saturday night. It is date night for lots of us. And just make sure that wherever you're going, if you have to step away from your television screen, you have the KOCO5 mobile app. We go where you go. You can still watch the coverage and get all the weather information you need when you're away from your television. But this storm is serious. Right now, it is 7:35. Chickasha is coming in 11 minutes from now. While the threat for tornado has shifted, first it was up here. Now we're starting to see a new area of spin. No matter what, we got some strong big-time winds coming in here. You can see on the right-hand side of your television screen, look at that rain coming in sideways there from Lawrence's shot. That's not coming top to bottom. That's coming in sideways here. You can see the leaves blowing around. Leaves are probably going to be not surviving much after the storm is over. Now they're in the fall time. They're already falling as it is. Jonathan, that velocity that you just popped up there you go. So still seeing that area of spin near County Road 1360 down towards Norwich. While it's a little wider, a little bit more broad than what it was before, we're still seeing that rotation, and Chickasha still needs to watch out. Jonathan, not only that storm, we also got to look at a few storms that are just west of the metro. It looks like we're just pretty much lining out these storms now, and that threat for tornadoes continues, but so does the severe thunderstorm warnings just west of OKC. What are you seeing?
Well, okay, so the original area rotation, I'm going to show you, this is the velocity part. So you can clearly see that's where the tornado crossed Highway 8. You can see the bright reds and greens right next to each other. Where it ramped up, I think kind of spun out right there. I was a little worried that a new meso was forming, and that it hasn't quite happened yet. The original mesocyclone, the original core of it, has really spun down. This is it. This is where the original area rotation was at. But now we got to look at all these different risks. So you have the hail risk, the tornado risk, and I also think what we have is potentially a damaging wind risk. And what will happen on the backside of these storms, besides the tornado threat, which is concentrated and condensed, you can get what we call RFD winds, rear flank downdraft winds, and they can actually, they're straight line damaging winds, and they can be, the swath can actually be wider than a tornado. So this is the pocket right here. So Chickasha, right now the tornado threat right now, this is maybe for me has come down a little bit, but you still have the significant damaging wind threat with the backside RFD winds coming into Chickasha. So nonetheless, if my family's in Chickasha, I'm telling them, well, you're taking your tornado action plan, and whether you're going to get it from a tornado or damaging winds, nonetheless, you got significant winds coming on in. So that was that. Damon, you had asked about other significant winds. Yeah, there's a pocket of winds not rotating. This is an area that Michael was on before, had a little, kind of area that tightened up. It's not as strong now. It's coming in Union City and Minco. It is not warned right now, but there could be some winds between just to the west of Union City and Minco, right in here, and this could come into OKC, and it looks like that's actually warned. So as we put the actual severe thunderstorm warning parameters on here, that's until 8 o'clock, so we have another 22 minutes, and this is going to be, it's only warned for 60 and penny-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe some winds pockets of wind slightly stronger with that. Putting a storm track on that, again, at about 30 miles an hour for potentially some damaging winds coming the southwest side of OKC. We're looking at Mustang, about 8 o'clock, Yukon, about 8 o'clock, and then southwest side of of OKC, kind of by the power plant, about 816. Sundance Air Park, which is by Surrey Hills, and in Piedmont, that's about 820, and then we're looking at Bethany about 822. So that's kind of part 2. South part, tornado warning. North part, damaging winds.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue that way. We may have seen just a small little uptick in the last radar scan, Jonathan, from what I'm seeing over here on this tornado warning. As we were saying here, it looks like something's trying to go up near Verdon. We'll have to watch to see if we can get another scan in here and see what happens. But there might be a little area of rotation trying to do something right there just south of Verdon. No matter what, both of these areas, Verdon, Chickasha, you're in your tornado shelter right now. You can see a little bit of an uptick there in the last radar scan near Verdon. So if you don't have a shelter, innermost room of your house, that's where you go. If not, you go into your tornado shelter. Definitely want to stay away from windows. Look on the right-hand side there. If Lawrence is available to talk to, I do want to get him back on the phone here. Just get an update on what he's seeing. Nighttime tornado threats are the worst because what happens is you cannot see them at all. So pretty much you just have to wait for the damage to come up. You can see right there, Lawrence is going to be right on County Road 1390. He's inside the tornado warning here as it continues to race up to the northeast. It's about 30, 35 miles per hour. So fast moving storm means it's headed right into the metro. It's coming in pretty quickly as well. We're not going to see this threat really weaken at all for a little while as the tornado watch is still in effect and will remain in effect that until 10 o'clock. So while, excuse me, the tornado warning has been canceled for Caddo County, it is still in effect for Grady County, which does include Chickasha here. So Verdon to Chickasha, you're in your shelter right now. Amber, while you do not have a tornado warning, you're still thinking about, you better be thinking quickly what's going to happen as soon as the sirens go off in Amber, because this storm is going to be moving up in your direction towards State Highway 92. As Jonathan is labeled here, tornado couplet. It's what we have when we get the red into green. Getting that rotation coming in here, red away, green toward. Not only that, got some strong damaging winds coming right in the Chickasha. I know a lot of times we concentrate on the tornado threat, but damaging winds, straight line winds, they do the same thing that tornadoes do. It's wind damage. It's just two different types of names for wind damage. Tornado, straight line. No matter what, they both have the same impacts. They can mess up your windows, they can mess up your roof, and they can certainly bring down some big time trees here, as we saw earlier from Lawrence McEwen. And those winds have easily got to be around 70, 80 miles per hour. They're coming in the Chickasha. They're coming in here any moment now as this tornado warning excuse me, continues. Not only that, also seeing the potential for a quick spin up there just southeast of Verdon. While the radar is not as intense with its velocity as it was moments ago, it is still there. And we know just how weird our weather is here in Oklahoma, that we can see this thing quickly spin up just like that. Happens all the time. So we're watching this one closely. We're treating it very seriously as this tornado warning remains in effect for a little while longer. It is currently 7:42. This tornado warning goes until 8 o'clock. Another 18 minutes from now before this tornado warning is going to expire. So that is the story right there with that. That tornado warning that is not that far away from Oklahoma City, getting in the southwestern sides of the metro. Putting on a storm track here, goes into Chickasha right now, 7:42. You have 5 minutes, Chickasha. Newcastle, about 25 miles away. You can see here, we're going to Norman, it's about 30 miles away from Norman. So Chickasha, Amber, Middleburg, all these communities right here, damaging winds, potential for a tornado, and we're getting very close coming into the Oklahoma City area. If you're living in the metro, you're looking down to your southwestern part of the state, you're seeing the lightning coming in, and you can see there, may have seen at least a breakaway from this storm right here. Strong winds just west of Chickasha. Tornado threat still just east of Verdon. Hail core in between Chickasha and Amber, where this storm has now been warned on for up to tennis ball size hail. Storm's now rapidly going up right over Oklahoma City right now. Not a whole lot of lightning in these. You will have a couple, especially up near Oak Tree National, Deer Creek High School. Heavy rain. This stuff right here is not severe, but you're likely to start hearing the rumble thunder right over the metro. I mean, you can see how fast these storms are going up from Frontier City down to Lincoln Park Golf Course here, even right over Hefner, Overholser, Route 66 out towards Yukon. Heavy rain over Piedmont, Sundance Air Park, up the Northwest Expressway as you go towards Okarche. So rain now coming into the metro. We told you all week long, 7, 8 o'clock was when it was going to happen. It's doing everything we told you it was going to do, and it's going to continue to rain. If anything, things are going to pick up in a pretty big way. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Right now, this right here, not severe, but you can see over Oklahoma County, not severe. It is over Canadian County, El Reno. Lots of lightning. Look at that cluster of lightning strikes from El Reno to Union City, putting a storm track with the most intense part of the storm coming into the metro. El Reno, 8 minutes from now. Clarence Page Airport, right there near El Reno, about 8 o'clock. Yukon, the Xerox plant, Piedmont, 8:20. Bethany, 8:22. OKC, and by OKC we reference downtown Oklahoma City for this, 8:34. Santa Fe, Edmond, 8:45, about 1 hour from now. And then we get into Hafer Park, Golf Club of Edmond, Green Pastures, Liberty Lake, Guthrie Lake, right around 9 o'clock. This is when the worst part of the storm is going to come in here. This is where you're going to have that hail threat. This is where we're going to have that strong wind threat as well. And I expect that that's going to be the big time concern with these storms. While the threat for tornadoes is very much there coming in, is probably going to be more of a big time wind event. The tornado risk, if anything, will probably stay a little bit farther south, southern parts of the metro. You can see some strong winds now coming in the Yukon right there. Front coming in. I think that's the cold front. Yeah, that's cold front coming in.
To the north. So that's clearly on the velocity, Damon. We're seeing the cold front come through, and it's about ready to bust into, it's already went through Deer Creek. I think it already went through Piedmont.
Yep.
There it is. I mean, I'll stop it. I mean, I'm looking at radar, and I'm like, oh, I see it. People probably just see a bunch of colors. That's the cold front right there.
Yeah.
So, but again, watch out for these winds down near Minco. These are coming in this way. Going to have to watch that. Obviously, the part of the tornado warning down north of Chickasha. So,
yeah. So good news for Edmond, Piedmont area. Once the front comes through, things improve in a pretty big way. Tornado risk not zero, but it is much lower than it is now. South sides of the metro, South OKC, Moore, Norman, Blanchard, Newcastle. We're still very much in the potential for some pretty strong winds coming in right now. This tornado warning, looking at it right now, it's very messy. You can see the velocity there has kind of really just gone all over the place. There's red here, there's green there, but you don't see them tight up against each other. That's good news. That's good news in keeping the tornado risk on the downward side than on the upward trend. That's what we like to see. But still, cold front hasn't come through here yet. Remember earlier, that one tornado, this storm that prompted this tornado warning, it went up fast. Still has the potential to do that, but looks like if anything, the tornado risk might be starting to come down just a little bit. Right now, 746, tornado warning until 8 o'clock for Grady County. Does include Chickasha. Have already had a wind report of about 65 miles per hour with this line. We're getting some strong winds now coming in between Norge and Chickasha, right on the turnpike. These are the kind of winds that if you have those big 18-wheelers driving down the road, they're gonna topple over. This is what these winds are gonna do right here. As you can see, Jonathan highlighting where the strong wind field is right now along County Road 1370, the Chickasha, especially from the central Chickasha down to the south as you go towards Norge right now. So those storms pushing out some big time winds here. The tornado warning still remains in effect for another 13 minutes. Right now, we do have some good news to report. That is the tornado watch, not the warning. Tornado watch has been canceled for Beckham, Blaine, Custer, Dewey, Grant, Greer, Harmon, Jackson, Major, and Ouachita County. Tornado watch continues, still remains in effect for pretty much Seminole, Pottawatomie, Oklahoma, Cleveland County, pretty much the metro, Canadian County. We still have a good portion of the state still under tornado watch, but you can see out here, western, northwestern Oklahoma, no longer seeing a tornado watch in effect. So we're trimming the tornado watch slowly but surely as this line of storms marches to the east. And now it's Oklahoma City that's going to be seeing the storms coming in here any second now. Already seeing some rain popping up, but we saw this tornado warning coming in. If Michael Armstrong is available, I want to talk to Michael right now. Michael, you're in the heart of the storm coming into this tornado warning. What are you seeing?
Yeah, at this point, Damon, we are starting to get some hail up to the west of Amber. The problem is this storm is going to cut us off along Highway 81, so we're going to go back to the north and intercept it over a little bit closer to Interstate 44. Listen, while it may not be quite as organized in the low levels as it was before, Chickasha, still stay in your tornado shelter just because there could easily be some damaging winds or another spin up could occur. We saw that tornado spin up very quickly down near Surreal just a bit ago, very quickly. So just don't underestimate the storm, even though we don't have quite the signature that we had a little bit ago. And also, you guys up in Mustang, be ready, because that storm, I'm starting to see some enhanced velocities over Union City, also moving east. I know we have Nick Smith up in that area, so Nick's going to need to watch it for Mustang and the Yukon area out on the west side of the metro for that part of that storm moving in.
Yeah, Michael, you're spot on there. One of the top chasers in the state here, and Michael showing explaining a couple areas of strong winds that we have. We'll get Nick Smith on in just a second. Jonathan, let's go back over to the radar. Look at those winds that Michael was talking about. He's looking right into here. You can see a little bit of area of spin that's starting to pick up right over Minko, Union City here. Probably gonna be about 60-mile-per-hour winds that are starting to pick up just near Union City. See that right there? Some strong winds. Those are going to blow right into the OKC area. So what's probably going to happen here? Here's the front. These strong winds are going to ride right up and over this front. If they can ride it in the right way, we might actually see a tornado potential try to pick back up just a little bit. Tornado threat is not zero for Oklahoma City. I don't want anyone to think right now that we're calling the tornado risk over in the metro. We're not even close, not with these storms coming in. But those strong winds coming right into Union City might even blow up in towards around Yukon as well. We'll get Nick Smith on the phone in just any moment now. But there's a strong wind field right over Union City where we have all that lightning and heavy rain. Let's go to Nick Smith right now. Nick Smith, tell us where you are and what you're seeing.
Yeah, Damon, I am westbound on Airport Road right now, and we are going to go right into Mustang. The velocities are coming up. We want to make sure that if there is anything going on right there, we want to be able to see it, bring it to you first here on KOCO. And, Damon, we're going to check it out. We'll let you know as soon as we get there. We are right now at Meridian and Airport Road, and we're almost on the cusp of that first part of that gust front. So, Damon, as soon as we get it, you'll be able to see it in our shot. I'll let you know. It's looking like those winds are actually picking up a little bit. So I'll be interested to see how strong they're actually blowing right now. Back to you, Damon.
Yeah, you and I both there, Nick. You're spot on there, man. We're gonna watch those winds pick up there. So Nick headed right into that right now on southwestern sides of the Oklahoma City metro. Let's keep this shot up. Let's also go back over to radar, see if we can get a good idea as to where these strong winds are here. So Union City, a lot of lightning coming in with this as well. So right now, 7:51. Still have about 9 minutes to go before the tornado warning expires down near Chickasha, although things have improved in a big way. But this is now starting to ramp up from Union City behind the cold front, strong winds. But as we mentioned, this is going to be riding very close to the boundary. Got to watch it closely. If anything, though, while there's some good news to report out of this, that this is moving more up to the north, front moving down to the south. So as long as we can keep this behind the front, things are going to be looking much better for us from a tornado side. But that threat for strong wind is still very much going to be there. So Jonathan showing you where the cold front is. Why is the cold front important? That right there is pretty much going to be the dividing line from the tornado risk and the much lower tornado risk. So this side, much lower tornado risk. This side, tornado risk. Both have a risk. It's just one's lower than the other. That's where the side is really coming down. Lots of heavy rain, though. Lots of lightning coming in. You know, these are the type of lightning strikes. They're going to freak out your dogs. Your dogs and your pets are not going to like this at all. They're probably going to be as huddled, as close to you as they can get. If not, they're under the bed. That's what mine do. But you can see right here, tornado warning has really improved. The velocities have really improved from at least the last 20 minutes on this tornado warning, which kind of got pretty scary there for a second there for Chickasha and Verdon when we saw that thing ramping up and we saw the damage that KOCO5 storm chaser Lawrence McEwen came up on. Big time trees. You can see it ramped up there up towards Verdon, moved up to the northeast, has really pretty much gusted out. While there's some rotation, it is very broad. All storms rotate. Meteorology 101, it's just some rotate stronger than others, and this one is rotating. You'll probably look up above your house. You can probably see the cloud spinning. It's rotating. It's very loosely rotating. It's not very tight. So Jonathan's watching for a new meso trying to spin here. New area of rotation trying to pick up. We're still watching it with each radar scan. Let's go out to KOCO5 storm chaser Lawrence McEwen. Lawrence, what are you seeing?
David, right now we are west of Chickasha right now. We have finally got back into radio service here. I can tell you when we were north of Cement, we crossed the damage path of the tornado 3 different times. Thankfully, it wasn't very wide at all, maybe only about 50 to 100 yards, if that. And when we were out there, luckily, we did not see any homes that had been hit by the tornado. But nevertheless, there was definitely a tornado north of Cement about 30 minutes ago, Damon. Right now we're punching east, trying to get back ahead of this storm just on the west side of Chickasha, Damon.
All right, yeah, watching this area that Lawrence is on right now, because there's some big-time hail that is falling within this storm that's still up near Chickasha, and it is going to be right here. You can see there how it pops up, but the hail core is tremendous. I mean, we're probably pushing at least ping pong ball, golf ball, at times even a little bit larger than golf ball size hail. Radar indicated with this cell. Still coming into the metro. We were watching the storm develop down west and southwest of Lawton. It is still packing a punch as it moves up to the northeast. Oklahoma City, we have storms right now. Watching for some gusty winds. But once this storm comes in, and I'm really highlighting South OKC, Blanchard, Newcastle, Moore, Norman, that area is going to be the one that's likely to experience this storm and its strong winds as it moves up the turnpike coming into Grady, parts of McLean, and then Cleveland County here. This is the one to watch as it moves in. The rain's already coming into the metro right now. That stuff is not severe, but what is severe is what's just west and southwest of the metro as the cell moves up to the northeast. And you can still see that spin happening on radar right here. Watch this. You just see it spin, and it's still spinning and still rotating coming up into the metro. Signs are still there that it could even increase its rotation as it comes into Oklahoma City here in the next few minutes. Jonathan, while the threat for tornadoes still continues, we're still watching for these pockets of strong winds, and really got to start looking for these quick spin-up tornadoes as well over the next hour as these storms move into the metro.
Absolutely there, Damon. So the tornado that we saw north of Surreal, that was with a supercell. That was clearly a supercell embedded on the line to back up the radar here, and that's what it was. Now we're transitioning from supercell tornado risk to squall line tornado risk, and those happen very quick and they're very brief, but they most certainly happen. We still have a lot of shear. So a couple, we'll watch along the line. A lot of times if we can get bowing segments, so that's what, they call them bow echoes, on the bowing segments, that's what we're going to look for. I'm not saying that this is happening right now, but a bow would kind of look like that. And so as the squall line develops, we're going to look on the little vortice on the north end and a little vortice in the south end, and potentially on the leading edge too. But those are kind of the two bookend vortices, or bookend vortex is what we're kind of looking for. So that's what we're transitioning to right now. Again, those are brief, but they do happen, and so we'll have to watch for that. And a lot of times, Damon, what will happen is that I'll see it on radar, right? And by the time we get to it, it's off of radar. They happen that quick.
Yeah, happen that fast. Brand new tornado warning now just issued. So this couplet is still strong enough, and you can see it right there moving up to the northeast. So brand new tornado warning does include up to Bridge Creek, Blanchard. Blanchard, you're included in this tornado warning. Blanchard going into your tornado shelter with this. While the storm is going to likely produce tornadoes that skip along the way, if I'm living anywhere between Middleburg, Blanchard, Bridge Creek as well, you're going into your tornado shelter. It is currently 7:57. This warning goes until 8:30, moves into Middleburg at 8:10. Blanchard, talking to you Blanchard right now, 8:21 is when this tornado warning is, this tornado is going to move in. 8:31 for Newcastle. This is it right here, moving up to the northeast, and you continue that track. And even as we go outside of this polygon, this storm is likely going to go into Cleveland County. Moore, Norman, South OKC will likely be the ones to be dealing with this storm. This storm developed, remember, out in southwest Oklahoma, south of Lawton. It's now headed in this direction. While we do not have an official tornado warning yet for anyone in Cleveland County, this storm will continue to move up to the northeast, but we do have a tornado warning for those of us from Blanchard and Middleburg right here. Once again, going into your tornado shelter right now. It is currently 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. This tornado warning will continue for another 30 minutes as it's moving up to the northeast. Not only that, we also have a severe thunderstorm warning now for Oklahoma County. So a lot of our phones may be going off right now. You're hearing all sorts of warnings, trying to figure out what is what. This is the tornado warning. This is going to be northeast of Chickasha. This tornado warning includes Blanchard, Middleburg. The severe thunderstorm warning is going to be for Oklahoma County. Small hail, mainly winds. Remember, the cold front's coming in right now, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Tornado is going to be right at the corner, right at the intersection of State Highway 92 and the turnpike here as you make your way up towards Oklahoma City here. So if we're looking at exactly who's included with this tornado warning here, it's now northeast of Chickasha. This is going to be very close. It's going to be just east of that, where if you're driving on the turnpike and you come across a plaza, there's a McDonald's right there in the middle. You can pretty much get off on either side here. This is where that McDonald's is. You can see right there where it breaks apart. So McDonald's right here, sporting ball fields, the baseball fields down by Chickasha down here. So right by the McDonald's on the turnpike is where this rotation is, at the corner of State Highway 92. And as you go right on the turnpike, that's where the McDonald's is right there. Moving up the turnpike towards County Road 1300, headed in towards Middleburg any moment now. Has some rural land, but this will be moving into more populated areas over the next few minutes here. Storm's moving up to the northeast, is moving up there quickly at speeds of about 30 to 35 miles per hour. The hail threat has come down. It's come down enough to where the tornado risk is on the low, or the hail threat is on the low side. This is now becoming a big time tornado threat, though, coming up the turnpike here as we're still looking for these quick spin up tornadoes. This is not going to be the type of storm that produces a long track wedge tornado. That's not the type of atmosphere we have. Instead, we're going to get these type of quick spin ups where the rotation, the tornado may occur here. It'll happen for 30 or 45 seconds. And then all of a sudden, a few minutes later, it's going to happen probably 5 or 10 miles away from the old tornado. These things skip along the land. What we're hoping is that when the tornadoes occur, they only do so over open land. However, as we get closer to Oklahoma City, we start to see more densely populated neighborhoods. And so the potential for these storms, and this storm in particular, to produce damage and to hit a house is becoming another threat. And that too is increasing with this right here. You know, Jonathan, you look at this velocity, it doesn't look all that impressive. You know, out here in Oklahoma, we're used to seeing these tight radar couplets, but this type of storm system is different. And that's what we look for, are the red and the greens together. Even if it's brief, it can still do a good amount of damage. Yeah, it's not gate to gate by any means. When you look at it, it's absolutely, doesn't look real impressive. Doesn't mean it's not posing a significant threat. So the overall area of rotation is right through here. Again, you can still get some damaging winds, even on the south side of it. When we look at other parts of the intensity, again, here's your inflow notch. This is where all the air ahead of the storm is being pulled in and it cuts away. So you get the inflow notch coming in there, and then this would be the hook coming around here. So general area of rotation, it's going to be between those two blue lines. That's just from reflectivity, just looking at the intensity. Here's the Doppler part, here's the wind part, and again, that lines up, that corresponds with that. Here are your inbounds, here are your outbounds. Nothing like what we saw earlier when it comes to intensity for the rotation, but I absolutely understand why the National Weather Service has that tornado warning and why they took it all the way out to Middleburg and to Blanchard. So we're just really going to have to watch it. And of course, the other thing we got to do is, you know, while we're watching that one, that's just one little, you know, hiccup on the line. We're going to have to watch for other parts of the line, like down near Lawton. There's a little bookend vortice. This is where Chris Sander is right now, and that could have a little rotation. I'm going to switch radars here real quick. A little something in there, not too strong, but we'll have to watch through that. So Lawton's not really, you know, Lawton's not out of the clear. There could be some spin-ups in there. And on the northern side of the line, again, when it comes to the cold front, let's see if we can find the cold front. Just bear with me here. I think the cold front is quickly, now here's some good news. Overall, I think the cold front, the OKC is right on the risk for the tornado risk, Damon. You get south of that blue line, absolutely spin up as possible. So here's where the cold front kind of comes through, for I can tell. So it already, again, it's passing through Mustang right now. It went through Bethany. Is it through Frontier City? Let me check the winds here. They're getting real close. The Guthrie winds have already spun around to the north here at about 30 miles an hour. So I think it's already come through the Frontier City area. So you're south of that line, watch out for the tornado risk. You're north of that blue line, you can still have a damaging wind risk, which there's some pretty strong winds coming through the Yukon area right here. I've highlighted the kind of those blue areas. It's post-frontal, but still
pocket of damaging winds. Not rotating, just straight line winds.
Yeah, and straight line winds, whether it's straight line winds or tornado, they both pretty much have the same impacts as we've been saying, and that is you're going to get some wind damage coming in. You're still seeing that pocket of strong winds, especially in between Yukon and as you go just north of Tuttle. So updated storm track for that strong, small area of winds, but coming into Bethany at 8:08, 3 minutes from now. Right now it's about 8:05. Wiley Post Airport, War Acres, Putnam City High School. We get into Whitewater Bay. That's closed now. Season's over. Dell Campus at 8:15. We get into Bishop McGinnis High School right about 8:20. Downtown Oklahoma City, 8:22. OU Med, Centennial High School before 8:30. So within the next 20 minutes, we're going to get some strong winds coming into Oklahoma County, up into Edmond eventually. This poses very little tornado risk. However, the tornado threat is still there as the National Weather Service has a tornado warning now that does include Blanchard, Newcastle, with the same storm that produced a big-time tornado a little while ago that we saw Lawrence McEwen on, where we were getting a good amount of damage in with a bunch of downed trees, big-time trees as well. So that's the latest right now, updated. Now coming into the outlet shops, and we'll have to watch that one. It looks like the winds, while they're certainly still strong, that area, that wind field is going to be just south of Yukon. Let's go up to KOCO5 Storm Chaser Nick Smith. Nick, where are you and what are you seeing?
Yeah, well, Damon, we're not seeing a whole lot. It's raining so hard. Wind's blowing probably between about a constant 40 to 50 miles an hour right now. We're just 2 miles north of Mustang on Mustang Road, and we're heading back to I-40 right now. And I'm telling you, Damon, it is blowing. We're doing our best at 30 miles an hour to try to get to see, and it is unbelievable how hard it's raining. So anyone that's out on the roads, just, man, take it slow. And Damon, we'll keep you updated. We're going to get back up to I-40 and try to stay ahead of the thing.
All right, yeah, and by the way there, Nick, you're also in part of a flood advisory with the intense rain coming in. A quick 1 to 2 inches of rain will occur here in Oklahoma City. Those areas that usually fill up with water, your creeks, your streams, they're going to do it again. They're going to be dangerous for a little while as some intense rain's coming in. So I'm going to stick around for a little while, and the worst part of the storm is going to be right on the leading edge. Once we get that away from us, then we're just dealing with a steady, moderate rain that's going to stick around until about 10 and 11 o'clock. But you can see that rain coming in sideways here from Nick Smith, and you can see Nick Smith right there on State Highway 4, just southwest of the Westbury Country Club here as you go down towards State Highway 9 with the storm moving up to northeast. Let's go back to the tornado warning. Let's get an update with this tornado warning and looking at exactly where it is. Blanchard, here you are. Lawrence on the turnpike looking right into the storm, and that area of rotation is going to be just a few miles southeast of Amber. Here it is right here. The area of spin is going to be northeast of the McDonald's there on the turnpike, and it's going to be located right about here. As you can see, Shelby Hayes here, meteorologist Shelby Hayes putting on a storm track here, giving an updated timeline. Middleburg 8:21, Blanchard at 8:31, comes into Blanchard in the next 15 to 20 minutes. We're looking at quick spin-up tornadoes. They're not going to last long, but they will last long enough to do some damage if they happen to move right over a neighborhood. I've seen homes that have had their roofs ripped off because of these type of tornadoes. They're only on the ground for about 30 and 45 seconds, but you get one overhead, and it's going to be a bad thing here. So we don't want to see that happening at all, but we continue this tornado warning, which comes right up to Blanchard here. Newcastle, you can see here, Newcastle not in the warning, although this entire storm will continue to move up to northeast. And for those in South OKC, Moore, Norman, as you go out towards Bridge Creek, Newcastle, Blanchard, this zone is going to be the area to watch for this storm that's moving in. Right now, you have just about a few minutes, about 30 minutes or so before this moves into South OKC. It's moving quickly at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Lawrence McEwen is going to be coming up right there in the McDonald's. It's one of the few identifiable spots there on the turnpike, which is why I keep referencing it, but everyone knows exactly where that is when you're going down the turnpike here, and all of a sudden you come up on the Mickey D's there right in the middle of the highway. So moving up to the northeast, still seeing that area of spin. Blanchard, things are calm right now, but things are going to pick up in Blanchard very soon. As you can see, this storm moving up to northeast. The rotation is ragged, but it is still there, and it will continue to do so as it moves in. Look for, once again, quick spin-up tornadoes here, some strong winds northeast of Chickasha, just south of Amber here. If you don't get a tornado, you will certainly get some strong winds that will pick up about 60, 70, the threat up to 80 miles per hour with this storm. Hail has come down, although it is still there. Right now, looking for about quarter to $half size hail with this storm coming in right now. We continue the threat for severe weather. Remember, tornado watch is still in effect until 10 o'clock for Oklahoma City. Right now, it is 8:08. We have less than 2 hours to go. And while the tornado threat has come down, it is still there. Severe thunderstorm warning comes up into Moore. Does include Will Rogers World Airport, Mustang, down towards Tuttle and Minko. I want to go out to field meteorologist Michael Armstrong in Storm Command, who right now is inside the heart of the storm. Michael, if you can hear us, Michael, what are you seeing with where you are?
Well, I can just tell you what Nick was saying. Definitely. I mean, Damon, the rain is coming down so heavy. You do not really want to be out trying to drive through this as these storms roll through the metro. You know, there's going to be a lot of people out. It's a Saturday night. But right now, thankfully, I'm not seeing anything tornadic in the wind field. There is that rotation area that continues, and we do have that tornado warning that continues for the Blanchard area. But we're going to be moving down toward that area, watching from Newcastle over to Norman, specifically that area, because this storm has been rotating for a long time, all the way from southwestern Oklahoma, now up northeast of Chickasha, and of course we continue with that tornado warning there. But outside of that, I'll say that the heavy rainfall is something that you are really going to notice. There's the roadways have a lot of ponding on them, and I'm just telling you, it's not easy driving out here at all.
Advice there, Michael. Gust front is starting to pick up a little bit, starting to see a couple signs of a gust front down to the south. But I really think that our big threat is still going to be some strong winds coming in, some heavy rain. So this flood advisory for western parts of the Oklahoma City area, 1 to 2 inches of rain. It's going to come in. It's going to come in fast. It's going to stick around for a little while here. Most intense part of the storm, looking for that concentration of lightning strikes, is going to be right about here and then right where Nick is, so just west of Oklahoma City. This entire storm lifting up to the northeast. Now, this tornado warning does include Blanchard. We still have a little ways to go before this storm moves in. Right now, though, for those of us in Blanchard, you still have about 10-15 minutes before the cell, the area circulation moves in. Right now, this warning goes until 8:30. We're watching you, Blanchard, watching you closely. Same thing up towards Newcastle. Strong, heavy rain coming in right now into Oklahoma City. This is warned on for 60-mile-per-hour winds, although we're looking at a small pocket of strong winds. This entire complex right here is not producing 60-mile-per-hour winds, just a small part of it. But this warning for 9 o'clock for Cleveland, Grady, McLean County does now come in. Brand new warning here. So now pretty much the entire metro is just about under some type of a warning. Tornado warning here, severe thunderstorm warning here. Our biggest threats with this warning that just got issued just moments ago is now going to be, let's see what we have here. We're going to have, I believe, 60s and $half. All right, so 60-mile-per-hour winds, $half size hail. Nothing to do damage. Tornado warning remains in effect. Right now it is 8:11, another 19 minutes, putting an updated storm track for this broad area of spin, but moving in the south OKC. We go into Bridge Creek at 8:13, Middleburg 8:18, Blanchard 8:26, Newcastle 8:28, Westmore High School there just southeast of the airport 8:34, Southmore High School just south of 19th Street and Moore at 8:36 right along Santa Fe. Moore, that's going to be downtown Moore right there by the train tracks, 8:39. Then we get into Norman, Max Westheimer Airport, Riverwind Casino just southwest of OU. Norman High School, Norman, right around 8:50 with this area right here. You can see it's warned on, and we continue to see there's still that area of rotation. Yeah, we still watching that. Looks like we just had an update with this tornado warning. Jonathan, what are you seeing?
There's definitely an area of rotation we got to watch. I mean, we have we have that supercell storm, and obviously it's still kind of embedded in the line, moving up the line. Still have the tornado warning. I've circled in blue. That's where the couplet is. That's where the mesocyclone. That's where the area rotation is. Within that tornado warning, that's where the tornado could be. This is a radar indicated tornado warning right now. So again, that's kind of the area to watch. When it comes to other winds, other pockets of winds throughout the area. So again, even though I kind of showed you that's where the couplet is, there could be some straight line damaging winds just to the south of the couplet near Middleburg. That would be moving up towards the Blanchard area. And then other winds that we'll look out for, just kind of looking up and down the line. The winds that we had kind of come through OKC, a pocket of winds that went through Canadian County from about Union City at about right there, came through southeastern Canadian County. Nick was with that. Nick is with that. We haven't had, this is a highly populated area, and we haven't had any reports of any damage with any of these winds. I mean, if there was damage there, we'd be, it'd be lit up with damage reports. I'm looking with the tower cam right now. I'm looking for power flashes with our tower cam as I look back to the southwest over, southwest OKC. I don't see anything. I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just trying to tell you, I don't see significant damaging winds. If there are some damaging winds, they're definitely on the low end of the scale, about 60 miles an hour. Biggest area of winds I really got to watch is this area right here. That right there, that couplet with that storm. So as we go a little bit farther north, I'm going to show you where all our chasers are at here. Nick Smith, looking at your position right now, you're right about County Line Road on I-40, and I'm looking at some of the winds here. The viewers are looking at your position on our radar. Have you had any damaging winds with the line coming through there, Nick?
On Highway 4 a minute ago, coming out of the Mustang, and we saw some leaves blowing around. That's about it at this point. The biggest thing has been the torrential downpours, the ponding, and even in some places,